What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Inside Science podcast, the show where we talk about crazy, interesting topics of the science world and guide conversations with an expert. I am Nadia Grandi, and our expert of today is Dr. Fotiadou, a specialized scientist in medical genomics.
Hello, everyone. It's always good to be back to you guys.
Well, this week, Krisa, we're talking about changing your genes or gene editing. We have two special guests today, both sharing their opinions and experiences regarding the topic. But before I introduce them, Dr. Fotiadou, maybe you would like to say a few words about gene editing?
Yes, Nadir, of course. So, people are probably wondering why are we talking about gene editing now? And I'll just take you back in 2019 when it was the first time that I got introduced to the topic. I was just reading my newspaper as I always do, and I bumped into an article talking about the CRISPR baby scandal, where a scientist in China modified babies in that way, and he ended up going to jail for I don't even know how many years, but it was because he violated medical practice. And ever since, a lot of controversy has been brought in about the topic, but yet at the same time, it brings the concept of superhumans in the making, and it makes it even more fascinating year by year.
Superhumans in the making. Sounds as it came straight out of a comic book. But to give a brief explanation of gene editing, genes are like units of individual information that is used to make a protein, and it's one of the things that make out your genetic code, and that's coded by DNA. And gene editing means the editing of your genome. It's a really intriguing topic, isn't it, Carissa?
I couldn't agree more with you, Nadir. Like, you see, for the last couples of years, a plethora of scientists have been working so hard on the topic to make it approachable and society friendly so everyone can use it.
I can sense that you're very excited about it, aren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm really excited. CRISPR-Cas, which is the method enabling editing parts of the genome, is quite promising and so unique, but at the same time, it's not as perfect as it should be.
Well, you know what they say, nothing is perfect, except for Obama's smile.
I have to agree on that.
Serious note, though, I think it's time to introduce our special guest to our audience and maybe try to approach and answer their questions.
Sounds good to me.
So, today we'll have Mohammed and Quinty with us. How are you guys doing? Excited to be on the show?
Hi, thank
Hi.
you for having us. Um, well, I am actually very excited to be here today, and especially on this particular topic. I have been doing some research on the matter with my boyfriend, and we're checking on alternatives for a future baby, but I can always use some extra opinion from Dr. Futiadu.
I'm also happy that you guys are here. And of course, Quindy, I'm always happy to help you with whatever the issue is.
I can see that Quinty is somewhat updated to the matter. But what about you, Mohammed?
So for me, it all started at a party.
What do you mean? Someone's gene was edited at a party?
Not in that sense, but more a couple of drunk biologists having a discussion about this topic.
Hmm.
Sounds like a blast to me.
It really was actually. So I was standing with some biologists, and they were super thrilled about this thing called CRISPR, and I've never heard about this. So I was like, "What is this thing? And what is CRISPR?" They were trying to explain it to me, but I couldn't slow down enough for me to get it.
I've been there and done that.
Exactly. So at this point, a biologist turned to me and was like, I can use CRISPR to take a little dog and then poof, make it into a big dog.
Okay.
So he said, give me a chihuahua and I can turn it into the size of a Great Dane. And I was like, no, you can't. But he was like, yes, I can do it with CRISPR. And that was the moment I was like, what the hell is this thing, you know?
Yeah, I totally understand. Like, it's really challenging to explain what on earth CRISPR-Cas is. Think of it as a defense mechanism, like as a Pac-Man game. Whenever Pac-Man pumps into some bad viral DNA, it eats up and fixes it. But if the genome is fine, then it just moves on.
I guess such an example is way better than my dog edited one. But yeah, I started doing research a bit on my own. I watched plenty of videos, that many that I felt like one of those biologists at the conference.
So, what is your opinion on the matter after all?
To be completely honest, in the beginning I was like, damn, this is really cool. But at the same time, I was scared.
Why? Why were you scared?
So, well, gene editing can be a big contribution, especially with human diseases. I guess that also is the reason why Quinty is considering it for the baby here, right? For a baby, right? He's
Yeah, that's right. My boyfriend unfortunately has been diagnosed with hemophilia, and yeah, well, you will most likely know, doctor, it's a genetic disease that causes blood clotting problems, and we're therefore testing the possibility of our baby having it too.
Yeah, it sounds really logical to me, Quinty. Everyone wants their baby to be as healthy as possible. And I just think that CRISPR-Cas is the perfect scissoring tool for it. You can just find the bad gene and, for example, the hemogenic one in your case, and cut it and just cut the DNA exactly where you want it to be cut. But the main question should be what happens with the good gene? How do I put it in, you know?
Yeah, exactly, that's right.
That sounds really complex.
Well, it's not as difficult as it sounds, Nadir. You just throw in the good gene, not very precise, but just in the neighborhood, so it can just be attached and transcribed. So that's pretty much all.
And here comes my fear, doctor. What if the new gene is not edited correctly? What if the scientist makes a tiny mistake and doesn't remove the bad gene, but another functional instead?
Well, you know what they say, Mohammed. With great power comes great responsibility. As I said, the technique doesn't have to be very precise, but yet at the same time, the scientist should be very careful when working on it. As Queenie already expressed, CRISPR-Cas can definitely eliminate diseases, but it can also cause even greater problems to the individual.
I guess the question here is someone willing to take that risk?
Well, I guess you're neither there, but as long as no one is obligated to do it, then I guess the balance should take place.
Yeah, and while my boyfriend and I were researching the matter, we came across this story from a family in China. After performing the CRISPR method, they ended up with a perfectly healthy child. And that's actually what made me consider it for my own baby.
Yeah, I actually heard about similar cases before, and it's just so wonderful to see how science can bring people in that happiness.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I also thought, Professor. But here comes the weird side of the story. After performing the editing technique on the first child, the father was thinking of editing the gene of his second child to be in such a way to modify his appearance. And to specifically quote his words, as if I remember well, since I will already be editing my baby, why not make it tall and blonde too?
He might as well go to the store and buy a baby according to his preferences.
Yes, that's literally what my boyfriend said to him.
I would like NBA champion. Can we make that happen too?
Yes, we can definitely work on that, Nadir. But the question is, do you really want to? This is why biologists and bioethicists are sounding an alarm. I guess Queenie's example is just one of those cases where people are playing God and experiment with science. But all I can say for now is that we shouldn't do that. But yet at the same time, playing with nitrogen can also eliminate diseases. So it's weird.
Yeah, so this is where I feel strong debate. I just don't think that we're going to be able to sort of find a refuge there in like 10 or 20 years. In 10 or 20 years, CRISPR will be so sophisticated that people will be able to say, I can get you the change that you want, and I can do it safely. I guarantee that you will have a human embryo that has the alterations in particular genes that you want. So then what?
I sadly have to agree with you on that, Mo. Sometimes I feel like we're sort of displacing all our ethical concerns onto something that hasn't happened yet. And the worst part is, if we really are concerned about what we're doing to the human gene pool, it's already happening.
Yeah, I guess CRISPR-Cas is just another example of in vitro fertilization. People were probably having the same concerns a few decades ago, but now about 60,000 kids are born via in vitro fertilization, and the parents are probably choosing whether they want a boy or a girl.
Yeah, people said that IVF was really dangerous and it was unnatural, and now it's just a normal thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you guys know about the case in Iceland where scientists are trying to see how genes are affecting our health. So what they basically found is that the people from Iceland have a specific gene that eliminates the probability of you getting Alzheimer's.
Yeah, imagine your doctor saying, "Now, if you'd like for an extra $1,000, we will take this IVF embryo and we'll use CRISPR to give them Alzheimer protecting variants." Would you like that, Quinty?
Well, to be honest, it sounds kind of scary, but it will indeed protect you from Alzheimer's, so it has a positive side to it.
I guess you're right on that. But what if you don't have the money? Imagine the doctor saying, "Oh, so you would like your child to face the future of Alzheimer?" Your choice to make.
So see, here's my thing.
Yeah, I'm also a little bit handed by the things you said earlier, Nadir, about the technology being already here. And I guess there's not a question to it anymore. If we start doing things like that, where is the limit going to be? And if, as a scientist, think of that in that way, I don't even know what people are going to think about it.
What can I say? The bottle is opened, but I guess indeed superhumans are uh, coming. You can interact with us on this topic on our Twitter. We generally want to hear what you guys think. If you feel like your opinion is different, we are very open in hearing different takes on it. But on that, I would like to thank our special guests, Quinty and Mohammed, for joining us and participating in this interesting conversation, and Dr. Fotiadu, whose contact details you can find on our Twitter page. Any last words?
Thank you very much for today's topic, Nadir. It was really interesting.
Yes, no worries. Thank you for watching, guys. And this was the Inside Science podcast. Follow us on Spotify and all our other social medias. And remember, the science of today is the technology of tomorrow.